Greetings from Yerevan. This is the introduction to part 5 of the Armenian-American Perspective. Tomorrow I'll be joined by Martin Harutyunyan from Boston, and I will be in Yerevan discussing what needs to be done to get rid of this criminal regime, this Russo-Turkic regime that has been handed over for the past 30 years and now is at possibly the worst state it has been in the past 30 years. And then once we are rid of them, what is being done on the ground to form a transitional government that is national-minded as opposed to being agents of foreign countries, first to Russia and now to Azerbaijan and Turkey, which is what Nikol is doing. There is a plan, there has been a plan, the National Democratic Alliance and its preceding organizations have had that plan for over a decade. There is a roadmap, there is a specific design of how the transitional government should be. I know nowadays that people are getting restless and they want to see new things happen, but there's no need to reinvent the wheel. There is just a need to support what is out there. I think part of the issue is that many people don't know what is out there. And if you do not know what is out there, I suggest you go to ajbever.com. That's ajbever.com. There is an English section which tells you in some detail what the criteria is that needs to be done, as I said, for the transitional government and the formation of another government, lustration of the prior government officials and political parties, corruptions and wrongdoings. It is all there. Read it, familiarize yourself with it. If after that it is not acceptable to you, that's a different story. But if it is, I ask that you support it instead of in February of 2024 start looking at new possibilities that we don't even know where they are. They're somewhere. And as I've said, as we've seen in the past couple of weeks, different lists are being formed, different suggestions are being made, but there's nothing tangible. These people have not contributed anything. They have not offered anything. A lot of them are just bloggers sitting behind a desk somewhere, throwing out random, inconclusive ideas. Once again, ajbever.com. Tomorrow, Martin and I will discuss it in a bit more detail, but I ask that you familiarize yourself with it first so we can all follow along and maybe come to a common agreement and get this thing off the ground. As we've said previously, the number one thing above anything else is to have people on the ground in Yerevan. There is two ways to make a change. Either the country has to have a leadership that is patriotic, that has its nation's interests in mind, and that country will start forming allies, developing its army, its economy, and so forth. We, for the most part, recognize that we don't have that government. So the second way to do it is by the will of the people, and that for the will of the people to make a demand to the international community, in this case specifically the West, and more specifically the United States and France, to ask them for help, to say that we are at the mercy of this government that is pledging its allegiance to Moscow and now Ankara and Baku. It is not pledging allegiance to its people, to Yerevan. We saw what France did just a few days ago. They gave Misag and Meline Manouchian the highest of all honors. That was a direct message to the Armenian people that that is how things get resolved. By rebellion, by resistance, by non-acceptance, and by fighting for what is right, which is what Misag and Meline Manouchian did, and Misag died for that. And France, 80 years later, recognized it. It's no coincidence. They could have done that during the 40th anniversary of his death or the 50th or the 60th. They did it now to send a direct message to the Armenian people. Get up and go into the streets. We'll see you tomorrow with Martin. Thank you for listening.